During eFootball 24 Season 7 King of the Continent update, many new packs were introduced by Konami. Along with that, a lot of new features were also added in the game. So in today's video, we'll be talking about one of the new features that has been added in the game, which is none other than individual instructions. I will be explaining you all the individual instructions. Also, I will be giving you one situation for every individual instructions, although there are various situations that you can use these individual instructions with in the game. So, without wasting much time, let's head straight into the video. First thing first, let's try to understand what is individual instructions. Individual instructions is basically a part of manager tactics. You can have your own style of approaching or playing the game, or else depending upon the situation of the game, you can change or modify the style of playing during the game with the help of these individual instructions. So basically there are two types of individual instructions. One is attacking individual instructions. The next one is defensive individual instructions. And while playing a match, you can use a maximum of 4 individual instructions, 2 for attack and 2 for defense. And this individual instruction effect as soon as the referee blows the whistle. I've seen many users when I was streaming, they were saying that if you go one attack bar, your attacking instruction that you have given in attacking one will get implemented. It's not like that. No matter you are playing with double offense bar, you're playing with double defense bar, or playing in balanced tactics. Whatever individual instructions you have given, it will just work as soon as the referee blows the whistle and the match starts. So the first style under attacking individual instruction is defensive. With this individual instructions, our players will not go forward when you are attacking. Now I'll be giving you one situation how you can use it in game. For example, if I give that individual instructions to my left back, so his positioning will be somewhere out here. He will not go forward for the crosses, and whenever you will be attacking, he will be playing somewhat like a defensive fullback if you give him defensive individual instructions. So now it's not necessary that you need to have defensive fullback. If you don't have defensive fullback, an offensive fullback with good defensive stats and speed can be used in this position by giving them defensive individual instructions. Talking about the second individual instruction, which is attacking. So when you give attacking individual instruction to your player, the player will position himself higher than he used to position himself. This individual instruction cannot be given to your attacker players, forward players. Forward players in the sense center forward, right wing forward, left wing forward, second striker. Apart from that, all the players you can assign it other than your goalkeeper. Now what will happen is with this attacking individual instruction, for example, if you are playing a creative playmaker out here, creative playmaker doesn't make runs like whole player. So he stays in the position. But if you want creative playmakers to make runs like whole players, then what you can do is you can give them individual instruction of attacking, and they'll be positioning themselves higher up the pitch like the whole player. So now again, with this individual instruction, you can make your any place in that attacking midfielder as a whole player. So now we'll be talking about the third individual instruction, which is anchoring, and it is one of my favorites. I'll be letting you know why it is my favorite. First, let's understand what this anchoring means. So basically, you can assign it to any players, and with this anchoring role, your players will not move sideways. They will always remain in the position where they are, and their movements will be always vertical. I'll be giving you one instance of it, and I'll be showing you how their movements generally are. When you give anchoring role to your player, when you are defending, they will never move like this. They will never move like this. They will not be here. They will not be here. Their movements will always be like this. This will be the straight line of the movements. Their movements will be like this. If they go up, it will be like this. Either to halka slide they can move, no? With the ball. If the ball is moving, they won't slide themselves. For example, he's playing here. He won't go here. His movements will be max to max this side. And he will even come down here. Even if, for example, if your destroyer has pressed, then what he'll do is cover. He will cover for that destroyer center back. So he'll come somewhere out here. So it's a very good role. Like it's like again with this anchoring role, you don't need an anchorman. You don't need an anchorman. Without anchorman, you just give that anchoring role. He will perform like an anchorman in defense. But the exciting thing about this place is not only limited to defense. In the last stream which I did was a short stream on Thursday night. You can see that match where I was using Philip Lam out here. We had given position booster to Philip Lam and we used him out here. Philip Lam has a very good speed, has a very high stamina, good kicking power, passing is also quite good, and his defensive stats are also very good. So what Philip Lam was doing was, with his defensive stats, he was helping me to defend with all the skills, blocker and every skills. He has all the defensive skills. He was helping me in defense. As well as when I was going forward, he was helping me link up with Anton Griezmann up there. He was helping me to do those link up with Anton Griezmann. And also he was getting space to make a shot. So he scored a screamer in that stream. And that's the type of the player if you play. Like a player who is who has a very good speed, so that he can cover a huge distance, and he can also track back with his speed, come back fast, as well as the player needs to have high stamina. So if you have these attributes, they can help you in attack as well, like what Philipp Lahm was doing. But if you don't have that type of player, then still you can use players with good defensive stats, so that they can help you. Even if they are not an anchor man, they'll help you in dropping back and helping you in defense. Now moving to the defensive individual instructions. Under defensive individual instructions, there are 4 styles. One is tight marking, another one is man marking. Then we have counter target and deep line. Tight marking and man marking can be assigned before the start of the game. We'll discuss about that later on. First, let's talk about the third and the fourth, which is counter target and deep line. Talking about first individual instruction and the defensive tactics that we'll be discussing is your counter target. By assigning counter target to your players will always stay high up the pitch. They will not drop back to help you in defense, similar to your attacking tactics. But here they will not fall down and help you in defense. They will always stay high up, always waiting for the chances. They will become like a goal poacher in any position. Stay in the line of the last defense of your opponent. I'll be giving you one instance of how this individual instruction works. You are playing with LMF RMF position. So you have assigned counter target to your RMF. So what he'll do is he'll always position himself in this position. He will be there here, wherever. For example, opponent defender is in this position where Griezmann is. So he will position himself out here. So what will happen is that will create a lot of space for you to counter attack. If the opponent is having the ball and he's attacking, and suddenly you win the ball. So what first thing you have to do is just try to pass to this player, whomever you have given counter target, especially if you give it to your wider areas. Just focus to pass to this player. He will be there in the last line of the defense. So he will get a lot of space to run when you are counter attacking. A lot of options to pass through also as inside. Talking about the next individual instruction, which is deep line. So when you assign this individual instruction to a player, the player will fall back and join your defense and help you to defend. So he will give you numbers while defending. So this individual instruction cannot be assigned to your defender players, and also you cannot assign it to your midfielder players if you are playing 5 at the back. If you are playing 4 at the back, you can assign it to your midfielder players. As we said, if you are playing 5 at the back, then you won't be able to give individual instructions to your midfielders. Midfielders includes the attacking midfielder as well. Only center forwards will be given. So like if you try to give individual instructions, like if you go deep line, here you can see you can only give it to your center forward. This deep line individual instructions is useful when you have taken a lead. So now you have taken a lead and you want to protect your lead. So what you will do is you will give deep line role to any one of your center forward. Or else what you can do is just bring in a defensive player in a center forward position. Go to individual instructions and give him the defensive role. So what will happen is you will have another player who will help you in defense, and that player will have a high defensive attribute. So that will help you a lot. So now talking about the third individual instruction under defensive style, we have tight marking. So with tight marking, your players will mark your opponent players even more tighter than usual, so that he doesn't get the space to pass or shoot or do his next move. Under tight marking, it is like whichever player is closer to that player, whomever you have given tight marking, the players will be marking them. There is one issue. Space gets opened up if you are doing tight marking. For example, my opponent is Wolverhampton Wanderers with 37 rated CF. When I want to tight mark that guy, that's 77 centimeter, I'll just choose him and it will tight mark. My players, whoever are closer to him, will tight mark. You can do it to any place in his squad. You can do it to any place. Even you can do it to the wingers. If you are doing tight marking to the wingers in the left back, and whichever player is closer to him will be tight marking him. Now what will happen is, for example, Costa Curta is your opponent's center forward, 77 rated, okay? And he has an AMF who is Griezmann of the opponent. So since I have given tight marking to this 77 rated center forward, so now when he's closer to my De Vrij will be pressing him. So when my De Vrij presses, what he can do is he can pass it back to Griezmann, and Griezmann will have an option out here. There will be an empty space. So now what Griezmann can do is, if any of his player is making runs out here, so Griezmann can pass it in this channel and he gets a space. So that is the only disadvantage of tight marking, but that's not a huge disadvantage. If the opponent gets to know, then it will be a disadvantage. If not, then it will not be a disadvantage. The opponent has to be a smart in order to know that. And for example, if you're 77 rated center forward of your opponent, or we have taken it as Costa Curta, if he's playing out here, then Maldini will be marking it. So whichever player is closer to this guy, if this player moves here, then this player will be marking. If there is a DMF, then the DMF will mark it. So wherever he moves, he will be marked. So this player will be the hotspot if you give tight marking to a particular player of the opponent. So now coming to the last individual instructions under the defensive style, which is man marking. This is also similar to tight marking, and spaces will open up if you are doing man marking as well, alike to your tight marking. But in tight marking, the one player was marked by any players, whoever were closer to him. In man marking, you will be assigning a particular player who will be marking that particular player. So now, for example, I want his center forward to be marked by Maldini. So what I'll do is, I'll just select Maldini out here and I'll select his center forward. This is how it will show. It will just show to you. It will not show to your opponent. So now what will happen is, for example, this DMF is his center forward. Now wherever he moves, he will be marked by this guy. Maldini will always mark him. Wherever he moves here, and now these players are not that smart. They are AI. So obviously the movements of center forward will be in this channel only. So wherever he will be moving, he sees him, he'll be marking him, so that he doesn't get space to do anything. But that will open up space for the other place. If again the opponent is smart, he'll try to make changes and exploit this man marking. But again, he has to be smart for that. So with this, we come to an end with all the styles under individual instructions. And I've just given you one or two instances or situations how you can use this individual instructions. There are various and multiple ways that you can use it, and you can make it your unique style or your different style of approaching or playing this game. Hopefully next tactics that they will be bringing in would be sub tactics, which is another interesting thing that is there in console or PC. So hopefully they bring sub tactic also in the next coming updates. This way I've come to an end with all the things that you needed to know about this individual instructions. If you still have any doubts, feel free to comment us in the comment section. That's it guys from my side. If you found this video to be good and informative, do hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel. Roger takes off. Peace out.